Baltej's story, I asked my father, "Do you know who this is?" He said, "Of course, he is one of the greatest Canadians." The reason my father said that is because Baltej made history in 1991 as the first RCMP officer to wear a turban, advocating for the right to practice his faith while serving Canada. This is huge because he paved the way for diversity in Canadian law enforcement. His lifelong commitment to public service has now led him to the Senate of Canada, where he continues to advocate for inclusivity and justice. Also, fun fact, he was the very first recipient of our Raise Your Hands Against Racism award. I could go on, but I'm gonna let him do the talking. I now invite Baltej to the podium.
Thank you, folks. I haven't gotten to the phone just yet, so it's all paperwork. And we won't talk about Mr. Frump. I didn't use the T word. We're good. Look, it's what a wonderful honor and privilege here to be here and join in this celebration that happens every year. And it is not only a reminder, but a call to action. So I'm grateful to be amongst all of you, champions of this work, those of you who are day in, day out continue to fight for a more just province, city, and a nation. And I'm here with incredible champions. And I want to thank the Mayor for all of her support and the Attorney General for her work and all the other folks that are here that lend their energy, their voices, and their effort into this. I'm gonna stick to my speech, otherwise I'll be here for a while. So like as I said, it's a privilege, and we commemorate the 11th anniversary. This effort has grown in impact, reach, and significance in its inspection, I'll get it right, inception in 2015. When this endeavor was launched over a decade ago, we envisioned a Canada that not only acknowledged its diversity, but actively worked towards fostering inclusivity in every sector of society. Today, as we take stock of our progress, we do so with a message of optimism and determination. The world around us is evolving, isn't it? Often in ways that challenge our ideals of inclusion, fairness, and equity. Recent global events, the T word, including those unfolding in our neighboring country, have tested our collective commitment to justice, human dignity, and social cohesion. Yet, here in Canada, we remain steadfast. It's a promise that we make to each other in our belief that our strength lies in our diversity. Our resilience, empathy, and unwavering sense of community ensure that we do not merely weather these challenges, we rise above them. This year's theme, creating a more inclusive workplace, progress in reducing racism and intolerance, compels us to examine the strides that we have made and the challenges that remain in ensuring every Canada, regardless of background, experiences true belonging in their professional environment. As someone who might know a thing or two about breaking barriers, I've seen firsthand that transformation of our workplaces. When I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, you might remember I experienced a bit of resistance. I call it a little tiff with Canada back then. We've made up. I certainly understand what it means to challenge long-held traditions, having to fight for acceptance, and what it takes to challenge the status quo. But what I remember most is not the adversity. It is the progress that followed. Today, the RCMP has taken meaningful steps towards embracing diversity, ensuring that cultural and religious identity are not obstacles to service, but integral elements of a rich and inclusive workforce, and critical in delivering on the promise of public safety. Now, this transformation did not happen overnight. It took years of advocacy, dialogue, and most importantly, listening. Listening to the stories of those who have been marginalized. Listening to the voices of those who have felt unheard or unseen in their workplaces. Listening to perspectives that push us to reflect, to reimagine, and to rebuild systems that are more equitable and just. Because our humanity is tested not when we are comfortable, but when we are uncomfortable. When you walk into a room and you see someone that doesn't look like you, talk like you, is not following the same, and failure will mean harm, injury, and injustice to the other. Progress in reducing racism and intolerance in the workplace is not merely about policies, though they are essential. It is about culture. Why? Well, because as shared by the late Honorable Murray Sinclair, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Without a culture change, the best intentioned strategies will never find a footing, let alone become a daily practice in an organization. Changing the culture where everyday decisions made by employers, leaders, and colleagues foster an environment where everyone feels valued, where there are equitable hiring practices, leadership that reflects our workforce's diversity, and accessible opportunities for all. It is about addressing microaggressions, dismantling biases, and creating workplaces where people from all backgrounds can thrive without fear of discrimination, instead of being concerned for their well-being and personal safety. The first years of my time in the RCMP were spent mostly about being safe and making it back home every evening, because I was not sure that the person that I was serving with would show up, would be there when I needed help. And as a matter of fact, I was told after a year of service that one of the members that I was working with had openly said that he would not show up if there was a call for assistance from me. How do you ever come to work thinking about how better to serve and how better to contribute when all of your energy and effort is spent on keeping your oneself safe? Our work is far from done. We must continue to challenge systems that perpetuate exclusion, amplify voices long silenced, and remain vigilant in ensuring inclusion is not just an idea, but a lived reality for every worker in Canada. So, what can we do moving forward? Well, I'm amongst leaders here and champions that are much smarter than I that will answer this question. But here are my simple thoughts. We must firstly embrace continuous learning. Education is key. It's a cornerstone to all things that are going to be helpful in combating the ignorance that sometimes leads to this hatred. The landscape of inclusion is ever evolving. Growth comes from discomfort, and we must engage in difficult conversations with open hearts and minds. Second, we must champion mentorship. Those in positions of influence have a responsibility to uplift the next generation of diverse leaders. Representation matters. And when people see themselves reflected in leadership, it fosters a sense of belonging and aspiration. I certainly can share that policing was not my career choice for this very reason. Third, we must hold ourselves accountable. Inclusion requires active participation, whether in government, law enforcement, corporate leadership, or other sectors. We must set tangible goals and measure progress. Words alone are insufficient, and our actions must reflect our values. Let me end by sharing this. Canada has always been a beacon of hope and opportunity, and that is why we've made this home our country. Our country, our home, I should say the other way around. Not enough job. Our journey toward a more inclusive society is not just about better workplaces. It is about shaping a country that embodies justice, fairness, and equity. Challenges will arise, and progress is never a straight line. It is a path that we forge together, step by step, conversation by conversation, action by action, hand by hand. Let this year's theme serve as both a celebration of how far we've come and a call to action for the work ahead. Let's continue building workplaces and a nation where every individual, regardless of race, religion, gender, or background, feels seen, heard, and valued. Thank you so much for creating this.